What is up, YouTube? This is Chris, the Unprofessional Dad, and I'm back with another knife video. And I am really glad to be back. I missed a couple days. We talked about it last time, why I might miss a day or two here and there, and that issue flared up again. But I am back and I'm ready to go, and I'm really stoked to bring you tonight what I've got planned for you. Got a few things that we have to address at the beginning, like always. We always got to do our housekeeping. See? Told you that issue's already showing up. We've got to do our housekeeping. You always have to do your chores, stay on top of it, be responsible. We got to knock that stuff out of the way. We got to do the work before we can do the play. So here's a few issues. Recently, we done a giveaway, a knife giveaway. That video took off. I got almost 100 subscriptions in a single day from that video and hundreds of comments. Thank you guys. You know, you guys keep thanking me for that opportunity and stuff like that. I appreciate that. I'm the one that has to thank you guys. All right. These are just some knives that I can give away. You guys are the ones giving me your time. And time is the most important thing that we have. It's the most precious thing we have. Outside of our children and stuff like that, and the people that we love, our time is the one commodity we will never, ever get back. We are always spending it. We're never getting it more. We're never getting more. We're never adding it up. Every day, we're counting down. Less time that we have on this planet. So you're giving me your time. I'm the one that owes you, not the other way around. All right, I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the thank yous and stuff like that, but I want you all to understand that I appreciate you. Thank you for checking out my channel. Thank you for your comments, for your subscriptions. I'm already over 400 subscriptions. I can't believe, I told you all before, I never thought I'd get to 100. I'm at 400 right now. This is blowing my mind. And you know what the best part about that is? I'm going to be honest with you. Me and my kids were really close, and my little boy's got a channel. He's got over 700 subscriptions. And this is something that me and him can share together. And every day he's checking out my account and running up to me, Dad, oh my gosh, did you see? And we're enjoying that together. I get to share that with him. Last night he was at his mom's. I was getting ready to hit 400. I called. I was like, hey, put him on the phone. I just want to talk to him. I want him to see this. So I appreciate that, you guys. This whole channel experience is doing a lot for me, and I appreciate that very, very much. So again, thank you to anybody that's new to my channel. You're stopping by for the first time. Welcome. I love having you here. Thank you for stopping on my video, checking out what I've got going on. Hopefully you see something that you like. Maybe you'll learn a little something. Either way, thank you. To those of you, like I always say, who have been around from the beginning, you've liked some videos, you've subscribed to my channel, you've left comments, we've had some conversations. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. I greatly appreciate that. Recently, I had a giveaway. Actually, before I say that, because I need to discuss that giveaway video real quick. Just one thing I need to address. I do have a big contest coming up, January 3rd, 2025. It's right around the corner. It's less than a month away now. Less than 1 month from now. I'm giving away a $200 budget to Blade HQ. The winner gets to spend it any way that they choose, however they want. Whatever's on that website is theirs, as long as it's $200 or under. If they buy something and they've got 50, 60 bucks left to spend, don't leave a dime on the table. Spend it all. It's your money, not mine. It's on me, but it's your money. All you have to do to be in this contest is like any of my videos, send a comment to any of my videos, anyone, I don't care. As long as it's knife related. I keep saying this, guys. It has to be related to knives. Leave a comment about a knife. Whether it be a knife of yours, a knife of mine, a knife on another channel, a knife that you want, a knife that you hate, a story about a knife, I don't care. Make sure the comment is about knives. Now, I'm just going to be honest. If the person, well, I'm not going to discuss that. I don't want to leave that to chance. Make sure the comment is about knives. Please do that. Because that's my opportunity to engage with you guys on that stuff. All right, so leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. You're entered. January 3rd, 2025 is right around the corner. I'm going to give somebody a $200 budget, and I'll make a video when I'm doing that. Think about what would be a great contest that you guys want, because on January the 3rd, when I'm making that video, hopefully I can go live by then, because I want it to be live. I want you all to see that process. Think about what you want my next contest to be. Between now and then, leave me some comments. Say, hey, this would be really cool. This is something I've never seen done. This would be an awesome contest if somebody would come up with it. Give me some ideas. I'm going to come up with something. But I'd love to have some good comments from you guys on what you guys want, because this ain't about what I want. The same reason I gave a $200 budget away. It's not about the knife that I want. It's about the knife that you want. It ain't about the contest that I want. It's about the contest that you want. What motivates you guys? What do you guys want to see happen? That's what I'm going to make happen. All right. Now, recently I had that video, the giveaway. I gave away 7 knives. That was super fun for me. It was more fun for me probably than it was for you guys. I enjoyed that a lot. 4 knives have already been claimed. I shipped some out today. Mailed them out, sent the emails out with the tracking codes and stuff. I still have 3 knives that have not been claimed. I mean, they've been claimed. The people want them, and I alerted them in the comments, but they have not messaged me yet. I messaged them on the comments, and I said, hey, and this is exactly what you guys got to do. If you're one of those 3 people and you're watching this video, go on to my channel description. My email is in there. Send me an email so I can get your personal information. I don't want anybody putting their personal information in the comment section or anything. Send me an email and I will get back to you immediately. I'm really quick about that. I'll get back to you immediately and I will get your knife out the very next day. Unless you send an email early enough in the day, then I'll get it out that day. If not, I'll get it out the very next day. So I want to get those knives out to you guys. I want everybody to get what they've got, what's theirs, because these are not my knives and they're sitting here taking up space. I'm joking about that. But they're your knives. So if you're one of those 3 people, email me so I can get those out to you. If I don't hear from you guys in 7 days from today is, you know what? I don't even know what today is. Whatever day this video goes out on, I'm so mind warped right now. I don't even know what day it is. I'm going to post it. The video will go out today. 7 days from the day that this video is posted. If I haven't heard from you 3 people, those knives are going to go to the next person in line on those videos. I know what order it was in because I have it marked on the whiteboard. Comment X gets this knife. Comment X gets this knife. So I was watching those comments as they come in, and as that number hit, I would message, hey, you just won a knife. You just claimed a knife, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I know who's next on that line. If you guys don't comment or message me, I should say, not comment, but message me in 7 days with your address and stuff so I can send this stuff out to you, then it's going to the next person in line. Because, you know, I want everybody to win. And remember, guys, I've told several people in the comment section this. That's not the only time I'm going to do a video like that. I'm going to be getting a bunch of budget knives in. I've got a whole bunch of orders coming in right now. I'm going to be getting a lot of budget knives in like that. And I'm going to be giving them away. You never know. I might pop up one day with a really nice knife and say, hey, this is separate from my big contest. But today, this knife is going out to somebody. Somebody's going to claim it on this video. So I'm going to do that kind of stuff. I enjoy that stuff. That's fun for me. And I hope that you guys like it as well. All right, so that stuff's out of the way. All chores are done. It's like I tell my kids, let's spend that 5 or 10 minutes, get that stuff done and out of the way. Then the rest of the day is yours to do whatever you want. So let's be responsible, and now we have. So now let's get to knives. That's what we're here for. This is going to be my first ask and answer. Well, not really, kind of. It's not really where I've said, hey, guys, give me some questions that I can answer for you all. Over the past few weeks, I have gotten a lot of questions in the comment section. Now, I haven't wrote every single one of them down. I don't, just along the way, I never even planned on doing this video. I was just sitting there thinking, and somebody messaged me today with another question, and I was like, you know what? These are a lot of questions that people have. Maybe I should just do a video on some of these topics and answer some of these questions and get it all out there. So I'm going to go back through and see whatever questions that I missed, and I'll do another one of these, 2-3 weeks down the road, and I'll get more questions in. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be answering some questions that I have seen in the comments from different people, or just a general topic that was being discussed and stuff. So that's what we're going to do, guys. The very first thing was the one that came in today. This is a Jack Wolf. This is the Jack Wolf Little Bro slip joint with fat carbon fiber, titanium bolsters, Bowler M390 blade steel. I mean, this thing is craftsmanship at its finest. This knife is gorgeous. It comes in the typical Jack Wolf can with all your little disc. Somebody told me that people call those pongs. Isn't pong like a ball or something? What the heck are they calling those little disc pongs for? I guess it's my age. I'll be 50 next year, so I guess I'm just way out of the loop. They're disc, all right? But they come with disc in them and a little leather sheath for it and stuff. A little pocket sheath. It's just a little pouch. You stick it in and put it in your pocket. But even though that this knife is really nice, I mean, you can get these right now on Blade HQ, Knife Center, different places like that, and they've got a ton of Jack Wolfs. And Jack Wolfs, let me tell you, you have one in your hand and you're going to know why they cost what they cost. They're $300, $299. And I'm going to tell you, the best $300 I ever spent. This knife is so quality. It feels so good. It is so beautiful. It is, you just look at it and you get lost. I mean, this knife is amazing. But the comment that I was discussing with somebody was the fact that this is a slip joint. And fingers get cut on slip joints. You know, knife safety is something that I stress to my children constantly. I let them hold them. The rules are, in my house, you can see your knives anytime that you want to. Anytime you want to. But you better tell me, you better ask, Dad, can I see my knife so that I can go get your knife out, hand it to you, you can look at it, you can mess with it, whatever you want. But don't ever let me catch you doing it without me, or that privilege is done. So I stress that stuff to my kids very much because knife safety is a big deal. I mean, it really is. These are cutting edges, and they'll hurt you bad. I've cut myself on camera for you guys before, and bled out of my palms and stuff. These things are sharp. This is a very sharp knife. The reason that these things can be dangerous is because there's no locking mechanism. So if you're trying to cut down on something and you put too much pressure on the back of that, look at that. Yep, I just got my finger. See that? These things have no locking mechanism. As nice as they are, slip joints, there's no lock back like a buck or something. There's no locking mechanism at all. Slip joints can be extremely dangerous, which is one of the reasons that I do not understand. I'm not getting political or anything like that, but there are certain states, one out west, all the way out west, that does not allow locking blades. And I don't understand that, because locking blades are far more dangerous and do far more damage to people than non-locking blades do. There's a reason that blades lock. They're safer that way. Now I understand that some people have nefarious reasons with knives, but that person is going to do what they're going to do regardless. But that's a whole nother subject and I won't even get on that. Locking blades are lockable for a reason, because this right here is dangerous. Now, another thing are liner locks. Liner locks do lock, but there's a thing about liner locks. This is a liner lock. This is a Kuby knife, and I'm going to talk about Kuby in a second, but this is a liner lock. You literally have to push that over, but look, your finger is still in the line of the edge. So that is a risk to your finger. Many people have cut their fingers on liner locks because you literally, right there, my finger is still in line of that. You are at risk constantly, and the sharper your knife is, it does not take much. You can barely touch your finger and you're gonna nick it and you're gonna cut yourself pretty good. Some people have needed stitches many times. I sharpened a knife for a kid one time. Well, he wasn't a kid, he was like 20 years old. He had a pocket knife that he had had from his grandfather, and that thing was dull, and he had had it for years. And I was like, why do you, he's like, well, because it was my grandfather's. I was like, why don't you sharpen? He's like, because I don't know how. I was like, do you want it sharpened? And he gave it. I handed it back to him. This is no lie. Now, some people that know me is going to watch this video and they're going to know exactly the story I'm talking about. I sharpened that knife and I handed it back to him 10 minutes later, and I said, this is a razor blade now. Be careful. Within 5 minutes, the kid had to get stitches in his thumb. Within 5 minutes. They're dangerous. These liner locks are the same exact way. Now, they are better because the blade does lock, but you're still putting your finger at risk. So what are some good options, and what makes a button lock or an axis lock or a compression lock so much better. Is it just for the fidgetiness of them? This and of course I've got this Assassin out because this has been tongue-tied like crazy, guys. I told you. This has been a big hit. Like on the 3-knife challenge when I had this up, I mean, people love this knife. This is a great knife right here. This Assassin, Kaiser Assassin, is awesome. And I agree with you guys. This thing is great. But the budget, I did it again. The button lock is not so that it can be fidgety. It's not. Now that's a perk of it. But look what I'm doing there. I'm closing it without putting my finger. It's a one-handed open and close. It's one-handed open even without the button. I can open it with the flipper. I can close it with the button. And my finger never comes in line of that blade. So that is a big safety feature. Do not think that buttons, axis locks, compression locks are there to be easier. They are to an extent, but the number one thing that they're intended to do is safety purposes. Finger safety. My fingers are no longer in line of that edge, and they will not get cut because that blade cannot fall on my fingers. That is a big thing. Now, yes, this knife is $300. This is barely, but it's the most expensive knife on the table. And it's a slip joint. It's not the longest knife on the table. It's not the sturdiest. It's probably the second best made knife on the table behind the Mito, but it is craftsmanship. But it's a non-locking knife, and it's dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. These things will, especially when they're like this and they're as sharp as this one is, they will slice a finger off. Very easy. If you're using this thing and you're putting the right amount of force and it slips and you slip off, but your finger is still putting that force on that, oh my gosh, that thing. Now, of course, they try to give them a level of safety with that half stop right there. But if you're doing it, even if you do only go to that half stop and you've got your finger right there, your finger is sliced wide open right there if it happens the right way. So regardless of how much a knife costs or how nice a case knife is or something like that, and people love their case knives, and I like case knives. You don't see me collecting case knives. I might have had a case knife on here before, but not really, because case knives ain't for me. I'm not a big case knife guy. I'm going to start getting into them because that's a big thing for people that like case, and I'm going to start incorporating case into these videos a lot more. So if you are a case knife person and you haven't noticed anything that you've liked, don't worry, that's coming. But there's a level of danger to these things. You've got to know what you're doing to be safe. Now, an axis lock, same exact way. This is the Kershaw Iridium. The same exact way. You are getting finger safety. Yes, it's fidgety. Yes, it's nice. It's fun to play with. But ultimately, it's protecting your fingers. At the same time, no matter what you do, no matter how much your finger slips off, that blade is not going to fall closed on you. It's not going to cut your fingers. It's not going to accidentally close. This will close on you in a heartbeat if you're not careful. Short of the locking system failing, which does not happen often. I mean, have I ever heard of it happening? Maybe. I can't remember anybody talking about. Liner locks, I know that have failed. Liner locks they still are reliable and stuff, but there are situations where liner locks can really get you. And if you have a story like that, let me know in the comments. But these things are not going to accidentally close on you. Those locking systems are built for a reason, and they will keep that knife, that blade. They literally take these and hold them in vices, and they slam down on that blade over and over and over to see how much torque and force it's going to take to get that lock to fail and to have that blade to close. So these things are tested and proven. That's why they're able to sell them like they do. But that is a very important thing to consider when you're buying a knife. It's not just what's the knife, what's the blade steel, what finger safety is a big deal. It's a very big deal. And you know, I've cut my fingers on blades many times, especially slip joints. I've cut my finger on this one before. Not doing that, but just because I wasn't paying attention, it's so sharp I ran across the wrong way and I cut myself. Not bad, but it's easy. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do. Now, these things, liner locks, will fail on you. What happens when you've got your hand closed on this just the right way and you put the wrong amount of pressure on that liner lock and boom, it closes on you. Now, I just did it intentionally, but that can happen. I've seen liner locks do that before. You know, they are still sturdy and safe and reliable, but they have a level, a measure of fail to them if you are not careful. But at least it's something. Frame locks, the same as liner locks, they're more reliable, they're higher quality, but you still have the situation where your finger is going in front of the blade, and they're not going to fail like a liner lock possibly could. I don't mean to say that liner locks fail, because they don't fail, but they could fail. I have seen it happen before. I've heard of them happening before. It's very, very rare and few and far between, but it's possible. You know, and it's usually user error, or it's worn out and the liner is bent, so it doesn't make good contact with the blade, so it's easy to slip off the blade and stuff. You know, usually it's things like that that cause the failure, not the actual lock itself. It's user error, or it's been, you know, the integrity of the lock has been compromised by being broken or bent or something. But now, the next thing I wanted to talk about, somebody asked me if I'm familiar with Kuby knives and what do I think about them. I have 4 or 5 Kuby knives. I've got 2 of them here on the table. Kuby knives are excellent knives. They are in that budget realm. I mean, and budget is relative. Your budget, telling somebody that $75 to $125 is budget, might be, that's a grail knife to them. It's a relative term. But in life, everything is relative. This knife, I can't remember exactly what this knife costs. I think this knife was like 80 or 90 bucks or something like that. It's a front flipper, which I've gotten better. Somebody was telling me about how to do it and stuff like that, and I told him I was going to be practicing. I have gotten better. And did you see that? It just closed on my thumb. Boom. It happens. But I've gotten better. But this is a Kuby. It's got Ultim. It's a liner lock. It's got an awesome, beautiful blade. It's all tin steel. Kuby has some really good quality craftsmanship in their knives. They look excellent. I mean, I love the harpoon style blade there. I love the look of it, the black coating. You guys have heard me talk before that I don't like bronze or Ultim or gold in the handles and stuff like that. It's just not my cup of tea. But when it's mixed with black, it works. So this one is a good looking knife. But here is a Kuby, the Kuby Titius, that is amazing. Look at that blade. The blade alone is the best thing about this knife. Now this has titanium, flame anodized titanium, and it's a frame lock. See, again, finger goes in front of that blade, what we're talking about, but it's a frame lock. This thing is $100 and you're getting titanium handles. It's a phenomenal knife. If you're looking for, and this is 14C 28N blade, by the way, if you are looking at Kubys and you're wondering because you're not familiar with them and you're questioning whether or not you want to spend your money on them, because I'm going to be honest, before I bought my first Kuby, I had never even heard of them. Kuby, is that like a character on one of these kids shows on YouTube or something? What is Kuby? I did not know that there was a knife brand called Kuby. or Kuby or Kuby, however you say it. I'm probably saying it wrong. The hick in me, the Kentucky boy in me, is probably saying it wrong. But if you do not know the brand and you are looking for a really good knife and you come across one that you like the look of, grab it. Don't hesitate. Kuby makes some excellent knives. They're quality. They feel way more expensive than they are. This knife right here is $100, and it feels, I mean, I've got knives that are $300 that I would put this up against any day, and I would carry this over at any time. This knife right here is a really nice knife. In that price range, this is my favorite knife. $100, you can't beat it. Titanium 14C28N blade. Look at the shape. I mean, that's what you're getting with Kuby. Kuby has found a way to offer really good next level materials and keep that price point really low. They're competing, maybe not budget realm when you're talking those $35 to $60, $70 knives. They're not competing in that realm. But when you're talking, you know, up to $100, some of them $125, in that realm, they are one of the best. They have found a way of getting those high quality materials and keeping their price really low. They're making a mark on that price point area. So yes, to the person who asked, if you are looking at a Kuby, do not hesitate. Snatch that sucker up. You will love it. It will do you well. They've got several different brands out there, or brands, I'm sorry. They've got several different models. Every one of them is good. Every one that I've seen, every one that I've held. I've not yet had a Kuby in my hand that I just absolutely didn't love. I've actually got one ordered right now that's getting ready to come in. It'll be here in 2 or 3 days, and I'll be doing that in an unboxing. But yeah, don't hesitate on a Kuby just because you're not familiar with the brand. It's a very good quality brand. For that price point, you can't beat them. Are there other ones out there for that price point that you might like better? Possibly, but you're not going to be unhappy with the Kuby, I promise you. All right, the next question. When I done my video about the 10 knives, 10 categories, what was my favorite, what was my most expensive, what was my my most nostalgic knife, different things like that. I talked about what was my best built, most high quality made knife. And I talked about 2 of them. Both of them were Italian made. One was the MKM Hero, and the other was the Lion Steel Mito. This knife right here with the Bowler M390, the carbon fiber overlays, the titanium frame lock. And I talked about how this was my best built knife. Hands down, no question, as far as the way it's made, the quality, the way it feels, the way it looks, just the engineering all together. Again, I've got knives that cost more, but I don't care how much more it costs. I'm going to say something. No, I'm not even going to say that comment because that's really, that'll be, it's not worth the controversy. I've got some nice knives that cost more money, and I'm going to tell you right now, this one's made far better than them. This is the Lion Steel Mito is the best made knife, in my opinion, definitely that I own. And I've owned other knives before that I don't have, whether I traded them or sold them or whatever to buy a different knife. This is definitely the best made knife I've ever had. Not count the MKM Hero aside, but that's another Italian made knife. The way that they do their spines, or that crown, they crown their spines, and just the engineering, the way the frame lock is just precise. It's precision. They've got the lock stop on there. It's just the milled pocket clip. On next level knife, you cannot beat a Mito. You just can't do it. The Lion Steel Mito, in my opinion, is the best made knife, engineering wise, in that price point that you're ever going to find. Between that 200 to well, up to $200. Anything below $200, up to $200. I mean, all the way up to $300 or $400. Now, if you all know something that is not Italian made, that is a folder that is just as quality as an Italian made knife like the Line Steel Mito, I would love to hear about it. Tell me what you have or what you know of that is as good in quality and craftsmanship as in looks as the Line Steel Mito or any of the Line Steel folders or the MKM folders. There's just several brands, and the Italian made knives are they make them for a reason. I can't stress it enough. If you're looking for a really good knife, the Line Steel Mito is a knife that will last me for the rest of the rest of my life. Now, let's say I've told you guys this a lot. I don't use all my knives very often. Most of the time they sit in boxes inside the drawers and stuff like that until I get them out and look at them or sharpen them or make videos about them or whatever. I have too many knives to carry all of them all the time. I can't. I can only carry one knife at a time in an EDC. And when I'm done with that knife, it goes back in the box and I get out another one. So I don't carry this as much as I want to. But if I carried this every single day of my life, this would still be a knife that would last the rest of my life. Line Steel Mito is the best engineering that I have seen in knives. If you know one that's better, or I would love to hear about it, that's what this is. It's a give and take. It's a conversation that should go both ways. So I want to hear about it in the comments. Tell me what knives that you know of. If it's not a line steel, but if it's an Italian made knife, don't incorporate it. Now you can incorporate it if you just want to say, hey, yeah, I agree. I have this and it's an Italian made knife and it's the same exact way, then share it. If you're wanting to contradict or counter that argument, don't give me an Italian made knife. Let's hear something that's a different knife that is just really, now I know there's some really good, especially in the fixed blade world, like Bradford, TJ Schwartz, there's some Winkler knives, these American made fixed blade knives. They are really, really quality. It's hard to beat them. And they're right up there with any Italian made, even though Italian made like Line Steel fixed blades are exceptional the same way. They're still just as high quality as the Mito is. But Italian or American made fixed blades are really, really nice. And we've got some really good American made folders too. I'm just saying, the Italian made Line Steel Mito, it's in a league of its own. It is the best quality that I could possibly hope for. Somebody asked me yesterday, they said, I don't want to spend, I just can't pull the trigger on $100 to $125, $150 knife. I always, even if I want to, I always end up buying a budget cheap knife. And he was like, if you're not collecting, if you're collecting, it's one thing, but if you're not collecting, is it worth buying a knife that costs that much? And I gave him a detailed answer, and I'm going to explain that to you guys here. And most of you all have watched my videos, and you already know my thoughts on this. This is for people who are newer to my channel, who haven't watched all my videos yet. They might have been coming across my videos for the first time. I'm trying to answer questions for people who aren't familiar with my thoughts and opinions on these topics. So just go with me here for a second. This is the Rat 1. This is a knife that you can get right now for $40. And in my opinion, it's one of the most hard to beat budget knives on the market. It is a beater knife. It's got a 4-position pocket clip. The size is exceptional. It's big, it's bulky, it's got a good fit in your hand. It's got good jimping. Look at that blade. It's a slicer, but it's also durable, so you can take it out into the woods and beat it up. It's AUS 8. It's really cheap and affordable. Not cheap, but it's affordable, so that if you did break it or lose it or something, you can replace it relatively easy, unless you're on a budget where you can't do it, and I understand that completely, but there are so many positives to this. But it's AUS 8 steel, which is a good Japanese stainless steel, but it's AUS 8. It's not like your S35VNs or S30Vs or even your Sandvik 14C28N, you know, it's AUS 8. This is around that level of D2. But there's qualities, there's benefits to getting this knife. All right, here's the deal. Here's another one. This is the this is even cheaper. You can get this for around 30 bucks. This is the K-Bar Dozier. This is D2 steel, FRN handles. It's got a reversible pocket clip. This thing, excellent jimping. Dual. It's got a single thumb stud that's reversible, so you can put it on either side. But you can get this knife for $30. This was my example for them, and I've got an more expensive knife here. And this was my answer to them. If you are just wanting a knife to use and to beat up, what are the pros and cons of going with a cheap knife compared to a more expensive knife? Either one of these knives. This is the AD10, my most carried, I've told you all a million times, my most carried knife that I've ever owned since I started collecting. It's got S35 VN steel. It's got the triad lock, which is a secure lock. It's got a reversible pocket clip. It is an exceptional, big, burly, strong, a good sized blade. It is a little bit of a slicer, but not as much as like this would be. But this one you can get for around $140. So what are the pros and cons of getting these? If you're just wanting a knife to use, this knife or this knife is going to cut every single thing that this knife can. Every single thing. There's not a thing that you can do with this knife that you can't do with these. Maybe you can baton in the woods a little bit with this because it's got a thicker blade stock, but that has just to do with the size of the blade and the thickness of the stock and blade stock and stuff. You can do that with budget knives too. There's a lot of budget knives that you can baton with. Walmart Swiss Tech is making some really good budget knives right now that you can beat the heck out of, and they're lasting really well in D2 and AUS 8 and stuff. VG10 and different things like that. But do you want to cut 1,000 boxes before your edge goes dull, or do you want to cut 250 boxes and then have to sharpen your edge again? That's the thing that goes along with spending more money on a higher quality knife with better steel. You're going to hold your edge longer. But if you don't care to sharpen, if you don't care about the glitz and glamour of the more expensive knife, if you're literally just looking for a knife to beat up and to use because you just want a knife to use and you don't care about collecting, the only perks and benefits to going to the higher end knife is, all right, you might get a button lock or an axis lock, which is going to go to the finger safety. It's going to go to a little bit of ease of use and stuff like that. You might have a knife that's on washers to where you can get a knife on bearings, which is going to make it quicker and snappier, but there's a give and take to that. If you've got a knife with bearings and you're using it as a beater knife, that might be an issue because you're probably using it in dirty, grimy areas, which will gunk up the bearings. So that'll be counterproductive. It'll be an issue for you. And if you don't know how to take your knife apart and clean those out and stuff, that's a catch-22 for you. You might get a little bit better handle material. But again, if you're just looking for a knife to beat up and use, you can do the same thing with this that you can with this. This might make it a little bit easier, a little bit quicker, a little bit better edge retention, so you can go longer periods of time in between sharpening your edge. But notwithstanding some extreme and serious torture and abuse, this knife's not going to snap on you or break on you unless you're doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing, trying to chisel with it, batoning with it, beating it up with the hammer and stuff like that. And then it's just, user error, and you're going to do it. It's not made for that. But if you're talking that $300 or $400 or $500 knife, no question, everything about that knife blows these cheaper knives away. Every job that you do with it is going to be easier and quicker. It's going to slice through things quicker and easier. It's going to be like, Moses through the Red Sea on stuff. a butter knife do butter. Those more expensive knives, they're going to have a better feel in your hand. They're going to last longer. They're going to have better warranties. They're going to be quicker and snappier when in the opening and closing. I mean, it's just, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about that budget knife of $50, $60 or $100 to $125 or $140 knife. If you're not looking to collect and you just want a knife to use, is there that big of a difference to justify the price? Another thing that's a relative answer. If you want to be able to go longer periods of time between sharpening your edge, or maybe a little bit better corrosion resistance, but if you don't care to spend that 40, 50 bucks, again, but here, let me address that really quick. There's something to be said with going with the more expensive knife. Trying to save money by buying inexpensive knives that will not last you as long and that you're going to have to replace 2, 3, 4 times as often is like stopping the hands on a clock to save time. It's not going to work. The truest way to economy is to buy once and buy right. Buy once, cry once. So on that aspect, if you're looking to truly save money, a $125 knife compared to a $50 knife, now you might say, how is buying that $125 knife saving me money? It costs way more money. Well, it depends on how you look at it. In the long run, that $125 knife is going to last you way longer. It's going to keep a better edge longer. It's going to have better corrosion resistance, so it's not going to rust and wear out. You're probably going to feel better using it. You're going to like using it more, so you'll find more uses for it. All the way around, that knife might give you far more usability than the cheaper knife. It might save you a ton of money by going with that buy once, cry once purpose. But if you are not caring about any of that, if you just want a knife to beat up and use, then it is a relative issue. If you are okay with sharpening your knife more, and you're okay with waxing your corrosion ability blade, it's not corrosion resistance, but you don't care to wax it 2 or 3 times a year, go with the cheaper knife. You don't care about collecting, you don't care about the glitz and glamour of the more expensive blades, go with the cheaper knife by all means. That's exactly what I would do. Exactly what I would do. I'm the unprofessional dad. I got a bunch of kids. If it was about that and I was just buying a knife to use, I don't care about what it looks like, about how well it's made. I just want something that can cut a rope or cut thread or cut a box or cut whatever I need it to. I'm just looking for something to cut real quick. I don't care about all that other stuff. I'm just going to throw it back in a drawer when I'm done with it at the end of the day anyways. I don't care about that. It's just a tool. If you have that perspective, then go with the cheaper knife. Now, if you have that perspective, but you're also cost efficient and you're cost savvy and you think about your dollars and your budget and you understand that if I do spend a little bit more money, even if it hurts a little bit right now, it might save me a lot of money in the long run, then that benefit outweighs it and go with the more expensive knife. But if you're collecting, go with the more expensive knife all day. This is going to last. It's going to be worth more longer. You can resell it. You're never going to get the money back out of your knives. Don't ever buy knives as a way of saving money or building up a portfolio, or you're going to save them so that one day they're worth so much money and you can resell them and make a profit. You're never going to do it. There might be a knife like a Sabenza that will gain value in time, or some case knives gain a lot of value in time. That's one of the reasons why people like case so much. But for the biggest point of it, you ain't going to save no money buying knives. This is a loser's game. This is not a game that you want to get into if you're looking to make money or build a portfolio. This is a passion game. This is a love of the game type of situation. I love knives, so I spend my money on knives. I'm going to spend my money one way or the other. My money's getting spent. I spend it every day on my kids, on clothes, on food, on junk food, on everything under the sun. So I'm spending my money either way. So I'm going to get something that I like. Now, in the long run, when I do come down the line, if I ever got into a hard place, which is going to be easier for me to sell and get a little bit of money out of? Let's say I needed $80 right now on an electric bill. Which one's going to give me $80? somebody's going to give me 10, 15 bucks for this. They can go, if they want to pay 40 bucks for it, they'll just go get a brand new one. Somebody's going to give me $80 for this one because it still looks, I mean, it might be dirty a little bit, but I can wipe it off and make it look brand new. It's still razor sharp, right out of the box, razor sharp. So they can go online and spend $140 on this, or they can get it off me for 80 bucks. So that's the things you want to look at. But you're not looking to collect. You're just looking to use. In that aspect, this is the knife for you all day long. Or this knife, or any knife that's a beater knife, that's a budget knife that you don't care to beat up, that costs less money, but will still do the same job. If you sharpen a D2 knife, it will cut anything that S35VN will. Anything. I don't care. People can say whatever they want. There is not one thing. Taylor from Best Damn EDC done that torture test with that $10 Ozark Trail knife that everybody's going crazy about now. They're calling it the Ozark Grail because they're so hard to find, but they made it out of D2 and stuff like that. He did that torture test, a $10 knife against a Bugout, a $200 knife. Go on to Best Damn EDC on YouTube and watch the torture test between the Bugout and the Ozark Trail knife. And that right there is going to show you, if you're just looking to buy a knife just to beat it up and use, that video will answer every question that I can answer times 10 and in a million different ways that I can't answer it, because he's got the proof in the pudding right there in front of you, and he does it. Yes, the Ozark Trail doesn't hold an edge as long. Yes, it does bend when he tries to pry up staples, and the Bugout doesn't bend like that. But for the most part, that Ozark Trail for $10 is a hands down, all day long, give me 10 of them. I'll use those suckers for the rest of my life if I didn't collect knives. So that's just that. Another person, several people recently have been talking about Bugouts. Are they worth the money? They want to get Bugouts, but they're not sure because of the money, and they've heard good things, they've heard bad things. What's the idea? Here's the deal about Bugouts, and I've told you guys before. People love Bugouts. There's a reason they sell like hotcakes, and they're one of the biggest selling knives that's ever hit the market. Bugouts are insane. People love them. They are, you can get them for between $170 right now, $250, $300, depending on what your handle material is, what your blade stock is, different things like that. This is one that's in S30V, and it's got the typical Grivex handles, access lock. It's extremely light. It's a good bug out. It's a good bug out. It's a good bug out. But I have told you guys, anybody that's watched my videos knows, well, first of all, you also know that this one that I've got has the worst action ever. I need to oil it so bad. The action is just incredibly bad. I mean, the action on this thing is, it's not acceptable. But I just don't use this knife, so I haven't cared enough to take the time. I should do that, and I probably will, but that's neither here nor there. In my opinion, this is another one of those relative things. If you care about lightweight, good blade, the name Benchmade, different things like that, then hands down, buy it, love it, use it. It's for you. It's the perfect knife for you. There is no wrong choice for you. If it's what you want and you're happy with it, then it's the right move. It's the right call. If you buy it and you don't like it, you don't like the feel of it, you don't like the look of it, it's not what you expected and wanted, then it was a horrible call for you. It's a relative answer. Now, there's no way that somebody can answer that question for you in the beginning. I can't tell you whether or not Bugout's going to be a knife that you're happy with, because I don't know. If I only had $200 to spend on a knife and I didn't have any other knives and I wanted to buy me a good knife for my first one, it's my first big budget knife. I'm really spending $200 for the first time. I want to get the most for it, and everybody's been talking about this Bugout and how great they are and everything else, blah, blah, blah. And I bought it and I opened it up and I got this out of it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be sick to my stomach. Do I like this for EDC? Sure. It's light. It's got a great blade. S30V is nothing to write home or nothing to cry about. Nothing to write home about. It is something to write home about. S30V is really, really good steel. Really good steel. But it's really light. It's efficient. It's easy to carry. It's got a deep carry pocket clip that's reversible. Access lock. So dual thumb studs. There's all kinds of things for EDC purposes. This is a great knife to carry. A great knife. For EDC purposes, this thing is really, really good. But if I could only buy one knife that was expensive, this ain't going to be it. I promise you that. I do not like the light feel. Some people do. Some people want that light feel. I grip this thing in my big old hands and I feel like I'm going to snap that handle right in half. Some people like that feeling. I don't. I don't. I'm going to be honest with you. If I wanted a light knife that gave me that flimsy feeling in the handle that has, to me, it doesn't feel like it's got integrity in the handle. I don't have a confidence of grip when I hold this thing. I know that S30V is going to hold up to anything. It's really, really thin, so it's going to be a slicer from heck. It'll cut through anything. But if I was going to spend the money on a knife that's light, because I want that light feeling, I'm going to tell you right now, the Deca is the same exact thing. It's extremely light, the same feeling that I do not care for at all in my hands. A deep carry pocket clip, that's reversible. Magna cut steel blade, dual thumb studs, a paper thin almost, not paper thin, but it's extremely thin knife, blade stock, so it's going to be a slicer from heck as well. Magna cut steel, did I say that? And this knife you can get for 140 bucks. $140. You could save 40, 50 bucks. But you're getting the same things out of it. Now they look different. You know, about the same blade length, the same cutting edge, the same handle length, both deep carry pocket clips, different things like that. Both of them are good name brands. Benchmade compared to Deca or Hogue, I mean. Both of them have a lot of things going for them. This has got better jimping than this does. There's a lot of things with both of them. So if I just wanted a knife that was light and easy to carry and that had a good blade on it and stuff, I would probably go with the one that is more affordable, like this. I promise you, this is going to hold up as well as this one is. A lot of the price that's built into this is in that right there, that butterfly. I hate to say it, guys. It's the truth. A lot of this knife right here is built into that butterfly. That's the price right there. You're paying for that butterfly on the blade. Benchmade. Yes, it's a quality knife. I'm not saying it's not. It's a great knife. I have one for a reason, and I'm glad that I do. Am I wanting to get rid of it or give it away or lose it or sell it? No way. You'd have to beat me to death to get it from me. I'm not ever getting, but I feel that way about every. You'd have to beat me to death or steal it from me to get this $30 K-bar dozer from me. I'm not getting rid of any of my knives. I love them all. But that's just the way it is. To me, it's a relative term. If you are just have your heart set on a bug out, then by all means, go get your bug out and love it. I guarantee you're going to be happy with it because that's what you want. But for me, it's not the right knife. It's just not. For an EDC purpose, sure. But just overall, everything about it, it's not the knife for me. I enjoy it. I'm glad I have it. But if I just cared about the look of it, and if I just cared about the axis lock, about the cutting length, I can get this knife right here with its RPM 9 steel with the axis lock that looks great. This is the CJRB Hectare with RPM 9 steel. Another great stainless steel. Hold up and edge really well. This is CJRB's own stainless steel, RPM 9. And this thing you can get for around 50 bucks. And you are getting, I mean, look at that. So if you're just looking for something because bug out is the wave right now and the craze and everybody loves their bug outs and, you know, and you just want to keep up with the Joneses, you can save a lot of money and get something like this. But if you just have your heart set on getting a bug out, by all means, get your bug out and you'll be happy.
It's going to last. I feel when I hold it, I feel like that handle's going to snap every time. It's not going to. It's not going to break. Now, I know somebody right now in the comments, I'm not going to say their name. You can say it if you want to in the comments and tell everybody who it is. But they have a Deca that's in pieces right now in a drawer because that light, thin feeling is exactly to them what it was to me, and it did it to them. It did not hold up. And that's what I'm afraid of. I've got big grippy hands, and I love that firm grip. I love the integrity of my firm grip and my strong grip when I go to cut. I don't want to feel like it's fragile or it's timid, and that's what this knife gives me the feeling of. So to me, you can go with the if I just wanted a Benchmade knife, because a Benchmade, this right here is the best knife they ever made in my opinion. The Benchmade 940 Osborne. It's the best knife that Benchmade has ever made, hands down, no questions asked. In my opinion, I love this knife. This knife is not the same for the other one. This has got good action. It's still got that axis lock. It's aluminum handles. It's still a good, pocket clip that's reversible. It's not deep carry. I love the blade shape and design. That modified sheep's foot, I love this, or some people call it reverse tanto, whatever you want to call it. It's a sharp knife. It's got a razor blade edge. I love this knife. For a little bit more than this, you could have this. And to me, in 2000, Benchmade released the Osborne, and it revolutionized the pocket carry world. I mean, it's an incredible knife, and they've sold so many. It is one of their staple knives in their stable, and I mean, still to this day, they sell a ton of these things for a reason. All these years later, the Osborne 940 still sells a ton of knives. If it was up to me and I had to buy a Benchmade, I'm going with the Osborne 940 all day. I'll tell you another one that Benchmade makes that I love. It's the Crooked River. Boy, you want to talk about a good knife? Get out of here. That knife is exceptional. If you're a hunter, the Crooked River is the way to go for a folder. That thing is awesome. And I'll have one soon. I don't have one right now, but I will have one soon because I have my heart set on getting a Crooked River. But that's my answer to the bug out question. So many people have been asking me lately what my opinions are on the bug out. Would I get one, or do I think they should get one? That's my opinion on the bug out. That's true. But you need to ask yourself, what's your opinion about the bug out? Now, if you haven't owned one or anything like that, do some research. Look up the pros and cons to bug outs. Don't just listen to me. Watch some other YouTubers out there that are in the knife game. Watch what they say about the bug out, because there are people that is going to have the exact opposite response. They are going to swear by the bug out. You need to listen to as many sources of information as you can. I used to tell people when I was in sales, no, when people tell me no, I don't hear N-O, I hear K-N-O-W. They don't know enough. So I need to tell them more information. You can only make an educated and correct choice when you have the most information possible. So if you want to get a knife and spend your money on something like a bug out, then before you do, if you're not sure, then don't take my word for it. Do your research. Read your blogs, watch your videos, do some research, get as much information as you can. The best time to make an informed decision is when you have the most information. That's when you'll make the correct decision. And that way, when it arrives in your doorstep and you open that box, you know exactly what you're getting out, and you already know what your response is going to be because you already know what you're getting. All right, so I'll move on. This next one is more of a question for you guys. I recently done a 3-knife challenge with automatics, and everybody knows that to me, Protech is I love Protech. Love Protech. Love it, love it, love it. They're my favorite brand. The Mordax is my favorite knife by far, hands down. My son, he's in the military. He was looking at my knives. I never told him what knife to pick. He didn't even know that was my favorite knife. He said, "Man, Dad, that is my favorite knife right there. I love that knife." And it was the Mordax. He is just like me in every way. Looks like me, smart like me. He's not as amazing as me. I'm joking. He's awesome. But he loved the Mordax too. I love Protech. They are an awesome brand. Microtech is a good brand too. But when I done that 3-knife challenge, somebody was telling me that the M390 steel on the Microtech, and this is more of a question for the audience to see if any of you all can answer this other than him, because he made some points that shocked me. He said that the M390 steel on the Microtechs was testing at a 58 on the Rockwell chart, the HRC chart. That is extremely soft for this knife. Extremely soft. He said the MSI, and you all know I got it in my pocket. I carry it so much. The MSI is an amazing knife. I'm going to tell you right now, I have fallen in love with this knife. I've told you guys who've watched my videos over and over and over about this knife, how much I love this knife. I am so pleased with this knife. I love the action on this knife. I love the look of this knife, the apocalyptic look on the blade. I love everything about it. It's fidgety. It is huge, so it feels good in my hand. It's just, I love this knife. But he said that the M390 on the MSI and the LUDT was testing at a 58 on the Rockwell chart, and it's extremely soft. Now, that made me think, I want to do a test. I want to be that's the next level on my channel. I'm gonna start doing some integrity tests. I'm gonna start taking my camera and outside. I got my editing software. I'm learning right now how to edit videos so I can do all that stuff, and I can take my YouTube videos to the next level. I want to start doing some tests. This is 154 cm, and he said that this M390 at the 58 Rockwell was so soft, the 154 on this outperforms it all day long. And I'd like to think that's true because I love Protech so much, but I've just never heard that before. Has anybody else heard that the Bowler M390 on the Microtechs is testing that low and that soft? I mean, 58 to 60 on your pocket knives. I mean, yeah, a lot of your spider codes and stuff are testing around that 59, 60 and stuff like that. I mean, 58 is as low as usually you'll see them go, and that is soft for a Bowler M390 steel. But I take his word for it. He was extremely smart. He made some excellent points. He definitely knew what he was talking about. I could read his comments. I can fish through if somebody's just talking BS or if they know what they're talking about. And he was definitely intelligent, and he's very well spoken. And I would have never thought that about this MSI. I love this knife so much, it's kind of disheartening. So does anybody else have any information or any experience with that? I am going to, now I'm not going to do it on these. I'm actually going to buy a Protech knife and a Microtech knife that I can destroy. I'm not going to destroy them. I'm just going to put the blades through some tests and see which one holds an edge better and stuff like that. And then at the end of it, because they're still going to be good knives in perfect shape, I just need to resharpen the blades and stuff. I'm going to give those knives away. But I'm not going to do it on these because these are the only ones that I have right now. So I'm going to do it on the other ones that I order and do just for that video. But if anybody has any information on that, I would love to know if anybody has any experience with the Microtech knives being so soft on the Rockwell chart. Because if that's the truth and they're at 58, then yeah, that 154 will outperform that all day long. I guarantee you that, because Protech is extremely good with their heat treats and stuff. They are extremely good. And 154 is no joke. It's a good stainless steel. It's not Bowler M390. I'll tell you that right now. It's not Bowler M390. So Bowler M390 should outperform 154 all day long and every day, but not at 58 on the Rockwell chart. It's just too soft. It won't hold up. It won't hold its edges well. Just a lot of things are wrong with that. But so yeah, that was just a question. That's not my experience or my opinion on those things. I love both brands. I love Protech by far more than Microtech, but I'm gonna tell you, this knife is just amazing. I don't love it as much as I do that Mordax, but I love this knife. This thing is awesome. I carry it a lot. So if you guys have any information, please put it in the comments so that we can all learn. I want to know anything that you guys know about that issue. I'm almost finished, guys. The next thing, somebody asked me about ESEE. What is my opinion about ESEE knives? Because they're wanting to buy either an Azula or an ESEE3. I have an ESEE4 right here. And I'm going to tell you, ESEE4. Now this is a little bit different because this isn't a carbon steel blade like some of your ESEEs are. This is an S35VN, and it's got your 3D contoured G10 handles. All right, so this is the ESEE4. This, you all have seen my channel. You all know how much I love this knife. I haven't gotten to use it in the woods yet, but I'm in love with this knife. This is the Lost Trail 5 by TJ Schwartz, the Lost Trail 5. This is made with A2 steel, tool steel. This is, oh my gosh, words just can't describe. This is definitely one of the best knives I've ever held in my hands, no question. And his Overland that I have, that you guys have seen, same way. You guys got to get you one if you haven't. Maybe that could be a knife that I raffle off in the next, or not raffle, but have in contest or something. Tell me if that would be appealing to you guys. A TJ Schwartz knife, would that be interesting in the next contest? A TJ Schwartz knife, that would be awesome. I'd be down for that. Whatever you guys are game for, let me know. This is my opinion on ESEE. There is no question that if I take these knives to the woods, there's no question, and I haven't used this yet, but all the videos, I am that guy that does the information and reads the blogs and watches the videos and listens to other subject matter experts. And every subject matter expert that has tested this knife has said, hands down, this knife is the best knife in the woods that they've used. It is amazing at processing wood. It holds up well, it holds its edge well, it feels good in the hand. That rich light material is really tacky, and the sweatier or the wetter your hands get, the more tacky it gets. It feels good, it's heavy, you can baton, you can chop, you can beat, you can whatever. This knife is amazing. Gideon's Tactical. I love Gideon's Tactical. I watched his video when he done the review. His brother had been talking about this knife so much and was going on and on about it. It was the best knife in the woods and in the tree, the field that he had ever used. And finally, Gideon's Tactical, Gideon, he used it. And he done a video on it. And he was blown away by it. He was blown away by it. That's what prompted me to want to get one of these. And I did. And I understand what the fuss is about. This is a $200 knife. This is a $160 knife. There's nothing that this knife can do that this knife can't do. I can baton with it. I can process wood with it. I can do anything that I want to do with this knife that I can with this knife. This knife also has S35VN steel, so it's going to hold its edge well. Let's say it's not. Let's say it's just a high carbon 1095 steel, because some of ESEE's knives are in 1095. It's not corrosion resistant, but usually they coat their blades, so it's going to help with the corrosion resistance. But here's my answer to your question. There is no doubt that there are knives out there that will do the job easier and maybe a little bit better than an ESEE will. There are some that are sharper a little bit, maybe hold an edge a little bit. They're a little bit more durable. Absolutely. But there are knives that will outperform this knife. No question. But I will still choose this knife if they're the only choice that I have. I'm going to, especially if I can only buy one knife, it's no question. If I have the money to buy both of these, but I can only buy one knife, and it's the last knife I'm ever going to buy, there's no question which one I'm buying. It's this one. And I'm going to tell you why. Because I can do everything with this knife that I can with that knife. Easy. Maybe not as easy, but I'm still going to be able to do it. And I'm going to do it well. But here's the difference. If that knife right there at $200, $210, $215, what I paid for after shipping and tax, if that knife gets broke, yeah, there's a warranty on it and stuff like that, but I bet you I have to buy another $215 knife. ESEE has a no questions asked warranty. If I spend my money on the ESEE and I break it, I don't care if I take this, put it on an edge, and take a hammer and hit it as many times as I can just to see how many takes, like that old commercial, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Let's see how many hits with a hammer it takes to snap this blade in half. 1, 2, 3. Three hits to snap the blade of an ESEE. Don't matter. All I gotta do is ship this sucker in and say, hey, my knife broke. All right. This is what I get back. Every single time, every single day, no question. I snap the tip. All right, give me another knife. I snap it in half. All right, give me another knife. I intentionally do it. All right, give me another knife. So if you are a person that does care about buying once and buying right and being cost efficient, now if you don't care and you just love collecting knives, buy them all. Buy every knife you can. I want to have an ESEE just like I want to have a Lost Trail 5. I'm going to tell you, if I'm going to the woods and I have both of these to choose from, I'm probably going to choose this one because it's going to make the job a little bit easier and probably a little bit funner. And I like the look of it. I like the feel of it a little bit better. But if I can only buy one and I'm really worried about breaking them, no questions at all, ESEE is the best knife brand on the market in my opinion because of their warranty. I'm talking about fixed blade. You know, when you're talking going into the bushcraft realm and all that other stuff, this will not feather stick like the bushcraft or Mora will. The Mora bushcrafter is going to feather stick the heck out of some wood. But it's got a warranty on it that you can't beat. This ain't going to be able to baton nowhere near as well as this will. But this has got a warranty you can't beat. I tell you right now, that Lion Steel M5 that I've got over there I've showed you before, I can chop a tree down with that quicker than I could with this. But this has got a warranty on it that you can't beat. So no questions asked, hands down, if you want a good knife for the woods, for survival, for anything like that. No, survival's a little different because if, TSHF type of situation, then it don't matter what the warranty is because nobody's going to be around to get it replaced. But in general everyday life and use, and you are limited on what you're buying, so when you buy it, you can only buy once, so you want to make sure you get the most for it. I don't care if another knife will give you a little bit better results than this. Go with this every time because this is going to give you a warranty to where the money that you spent is going to be the only time that you ever have to spend that money. And if this knife snaps and you was only able to get one knife, no matter how nice this knife is, and I don't think it's going to snap ever. But if it did, God forbid, or if the tip broke or something, you're stuck with that knife. You're stuck with it. And you don't have any more money to buy another knife. So you're stuck with it. This is the answer to that problem. Go with ESEE all day, every day when that's the situation you find yourself in. When you can only buy one knife, make sure it's an ESEE. Hey, ESEE, I don't want to commission, but if you can give the people that watch my videos some discount on some prices, I'd appreciate it. I speak well for you guys as much as I can. I love ESEE. They're awesome. Last question, guys. Somebody asked me if I'm familiar with multi-tools. I was going to do a video on multi-tools, but just to be perfectly honest, I've got so many multi-tools. I had the entire table lined up with multi-tools. I just didn't know how I made the entire video. I just didn't know how interesting a multi-tool video would be for people. So I haven't released it or anything like that. If you guys want to see a video about multi-tools, let me know. I'll put it out. But somebody asked me if I had any experience with Gerber and Leatherman multi-tools. They didn't know which one to go with and stuff like that. I have a lot of experience with multi-tools. I buy a lot of multi-tools. You guys have seen me unbox multi-tools before. I've got a lot of multi-tools, Victorinox, Gerber. I'll tell you this, Gerber knives I'm not a fan of. I've told you guys a million times, but they're multi-tools I love. I love Gerber multi-tools. They make really good ones. The way that I look at it is this. If I am going into be an electrician or a carpenter or, woodworking or a plumber or anything like that, I'm going with the Leatherman all day long. A Leatherman is just more typically built for a working man. Somebody that's going to work, he's got specific jobs that he needs to do. Your Leatherman is going to be able to do that. Now, this is the Leatherman Rev. I've got a bunch of Leathermans. I've got the Wave, the Sidekick, and stuff like that. I wanted this Gerber right here is about $40 or something like that, 40, $50. So I didn't want to bring out a $100 Wave compared to a $40 Gerber. So I brought one out that was about the same price. I think this is like $60, but there's a lot of things about this that I love. Leatherman comes with a pouch. They've got a good warranty. They're a great product. They're time tested. People love them. They've got great tools. The steel is made well, so the tools hold up really well. But there's things about a Gerber that are awesome as well. I love the Gerber. Like, for instance, here's something that you always want to make sure that you look at when you're looking at your multi-tools. You see that right there? Spring loaded. Do you know what a difference it makes when your pliers are spring loaded on a multi-tool? Now, Leatherman has a lot of spring loaded multi-tools. This one is not spring loaded at all. At all. That makes a big difference. So you want to consider those things when you're buying it. Another thing, this has a locking system on it. So if I open up one of my tools, it's not going to close on me no matter how hard I push or force on that. That's a safety feature. This does not have that. Now, some Leathermans have safety locks on them. Not a lot of them, though. A lot of your Gerbers have safety features on them and safety locks. That's a big thing for me. I love that. I love the safety features. Just like I was talking about with the knives. Safety features is a big plus because it limits the amount of risk that you take when you're using these things. They both have pocket clips on them. You know, little things like that, you know, are easy. And this is reversible, so you can put it on one side or the other. The amount of tools that you get on a multi-tool doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know why? Because there's so many different models. If you get one that don't have the tool on it that you need, just keep looking. They're going to have one that looks almost identical, but it might have one tool that's different. Instead of a saw, it'll have a pair of scissors. Instead of a can opener, it'll have a cork. Or a corkscrew. I said a corkscrew. Different things like that. Some of your Leathermans have replaceable and removable jaws for your wire cutting. You know, there are different things about them. If I was going to the woods, if I was going to be a camper, if I was going to be, I'll tell you another one, like rescue workers like your EMTs and first aid people and stuff like that. I'll tell you exactly what I would choose. I'm choosing a Victorinox. Victorinox have these new multi-tools that are one-handed opening. Now this one is the one-handed trekker. This isn't so much your rescue one. They have the yellow one, yellow and red. They have 2 or 3 of them that are like that, and they are for first aid workers, paramedics and stuff. They have really good scissors on them and different things like that. They're a little bit more expensive, like $120, $150. Some of them even more, up to $200. But if I'm going to the woods, if I'm going fishing, if I'm going hunting and stuff like that, and I want a multi-tool, I'm going to tell you, I'm not taking. Now, yes, there are Leathermans that you can take. There are Gerbers that you can take. I'm taking a Victorinox all day long. They just have, I just like their tools. I just like their convenience. I like their, here's the deal. This tool has way more, this little Victorinox right here has way more tools than either one of these. Either one of these. It don't have pliers on it. That's it. It don't have pliers on it. But you know what? I've got a pair of Knipex or Knipex, whatever you say. Or if I'm going hunting, I've probably got a pair of pliers on me somewhere, so I don't need the pliers on my multi-tool. So this is going to be easier. It's going to fit my pocket better. It's probably a little cheaper, maybe. I mean, they do have some expensive Victorinoxes. They've got some up to a couple $100. But there's a ton of tools on here. 13, 15. I can't remember I think this is more than 13, but I've got one that's 13 in 1, 17 in 1. There's a ton of tools in this. A ton of tools. And they're really good tools. I don't care about the knife on any of these. I don't care how good the knife is on this, or the knife is on this, or the knife is on this. Do you know why? Because I'm going to have a pocket knife, and I'm probably going to have a fixed blade knife too, so I don't care about that. I don't care a multi-tool for the knife blade. Now, granted, they do have the new Arc and stuff in Leatherman, and they have some that's coming in Magna Cut and M390 and stuff like that, and S90V. That's all great. That's all well and good. But I don't want to buy a multi-tool and pay that much money just so I can get a Magna Cut blade. I'd just rather get me a knife and Magna Cut blade. But to each his own. Some people want that. And that's the great thing about this. This is all, like I keep saying, it's relative. What you like is what you like. What I like is what I like. That's why it needs to be a vary. You buy what you want, I buy what I want. Otherwise, what are we going to talk about if we have the same exact stuff? Talk about what you got. I talk about what I got. Let's converse. Let's conversate. Let's compare. I get to, look at your stuff in awe and wonder and be like, oh, that's so daggone cool, man. I wish I had one of those. And you get to do the same stuff to mine, or the same thing to my stuff. But I have experience with all these multi-tools, and you just need to look at what your job is, what you're going to be doing with them. Another one of those things that you need to do research. Look up which multi-tool is best suited for that job. Do you want something that's got safety features on it or not? Do you want something that's one-handed or not? Because there are a lot of one-handed opening. Now, one-handed opening, Leatherman's got their new one-handed opening. To me, it's a little bit harder to open and stuff because my hands are so big, but these are one-handed opening, the free T2 and T4. These also have locking mechanisms on them, so they lock. So once it's open, you can't close that blade. It's not going to close on you no matter what. It don't have very many tools. I think this has got, 7 tools, I think, is in this. But it's got a lock. You push that, and it's one-handed opening. Now, you don't get the tools that you get with this, and you don't get the pliers. But again, this is about ease of carry and about simplifying your carry and simplifying. How many times are you going to need all the tools that's on this thing? So a lot of times you're carrying around a lot of bulky weight and just bulk in general that's taking up space, and you won't ever need this stuff. So they have a way of simplifying them now and just giving you the tools that you need. And if you want think about all the tools that you want on your multi-tool. Write them down. I want scissors. I want a seatbelt cutter. I need a corkscrew for undoing knots and stuff. I want it all so I can poke holes or whatever. Think a saw. I need to have a saw. Think about what you want and you're going to need. Write those tools down. Then go into Google or any of your search engines on your knife websites. Type in those tools, and it will give you a multi-tool that meets that. And I guarantee you, there's a multi-tool that probably has the exact list of tools that you want. There are so many out there. That's what you need to do. So many people go and they go buy a Leatherman just because it's called Leatherman, but then they never use the tools. They don't have the tools that they need. It's too heavy for them and different stuff like that. So there's a lot of options. I'll tell you one of the best multi-tools on the market right now, no questions asked, are these little things right here by Gerber. I mean, these things are insane. They are, this has a pair of scissors, a really good pair of scissors. What is the name of these things? Has the something arm, arm bar. The arm bars, the Gerber arm bars are awesome. I mean, you can configure it exactly like I was just saying with all the different tools on them. They've got different tools and different features. You can find one that's got the exact things that you want. The number one thing that I want in a pair of multi-tools, the number one thing that I want above everything else is these right here. This is what I'm going to use on multi-tools more than anything else. I've already got a knife. I've already got a fixed blade. I've got the Knipex. I've got screwdrivers. I don't like the screwdrivers on multi-tools very much. Usually they're too big to fit into the screws that I'm needing to do. Victorinox is a little bit better about that. They've got smaller screwdriver heads and stuff so that I can do like glasses and stuff because my kids all wear glasses. So I need screwdrivers with really small heads. T8s and smaller, so I can actually get into those little glass screws and I can change those. It's hard to do that with these big things, you know. So the number one thing that I look for in a multi-tool is scissors. That's what I need is scissors. The arm bars, well, all of them. You can get the Gerbers now where they've got the little screwdriver, the driver sockets that pop down and you can put the different heads in it, you know, interchangeable heads. The Wave and different stuff like that. The Arc for Leatherman all have those options. Actually, Leatherman has a bunch of different heads and stuff. They actually have big sets where you get all the different screwdriver heads and the drivers and stuff. They've got all, but that stuff is all super expensive. So that's something else you need to consider. Do you want a multi-tool? If I buy this or the one that's got that driver with it, I can get this and the full set of the driver tips for the same price that I can get the Leatherman's tool without the full set of the drivers and everything else. So you can get everything for the Gerber for the price that you can just get for the main tool for the Leatherman. So you got to compare that kind of stuff, and that's what stuff that you need to think about. Cost efficiency. What do you really need? How much can you really spend? And in that budget, what is going to give you everything that you need? Don't get caught up with the names. Everybody's all caught up with the names because of keeping up with the Joneses. Well, Gerber's just not as cool as Leatherman. Everybody knows a Leatherman, and you're just not cool if you don't carry a Leatherman. It's not. My kids, man, if they don't have Jordans, they've got some really good shoes, and I always buy them Jordans, of course, because that's what they want. But you know, if they don't have Jordans, they don't want a daggone pair. I'll just go barefooted, Dad. I'm not wearing them. If they're not Jordans, I don't want to wear them. You know, because everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses. What's cool? Don't care about names. Care about efficiency and quality and getting what you want. If it serves your purpose, it's the perfect knife or multi-tool for you. If it serves your purpose and fits your budget, then it is the exact knife or multi-tool that you need. It's all about relativity, guys. It's all about relativity. What's relative to you isn't relative to me, isn't relative for the next person. It's all about you and your preferences and your choices and what you like. And what you want and like and what you can afford are the only things that you need to consider when you're looking at your knives and multi-tools. Not what anybody else thinks, what you think. Do your own research, look at your own blogs, your own videos, do your time, spend your time, and you're going to make the right choice every time. And if not, then go on to a knife source like this in the comment section, or go on to Reddit to the different knife places and find somebody there who's willing to trade you the knife that you do want for the knife that you got. All those options are there. They always are. There's always people looking to trade up and stuff like that. You can do those. There's always answers to that. And that's a good thing, guys. Taylor on Best Damn EDC, he went. Have you ever watched those YouTube videos where they talk? They'll start the day with something really small, a little trinket, and they'll trade up, and then they'll trade up, and then they'll trade up, and then they'll trade up, and they try to trade up and end up with their biggest thing. I've seen people that literally started with a little $25 thing, and they ended up with a $3,000 four-wheeler at the end of the week. You know, YouTube videos like that. Now, how much of that is actually real, I don't know. You know, it is what it is. But I was in sales for a long time. So I know that if you're good enough and you're willing to talk to people and you're willing to negotiate and go back and forth and overcome objections, then anything's possible. Taylor on Best Damn ADC, he started with one of those little Velcro things, the little patches that go on on the pouches and the bags and stuff. He started with the daggone patch. And he started at the Georgia... it was like the Georgia Outdoors Bushcraft Show or Knife Show or something like that. It was in a big field. like a flea market for knives and all things outdoor gear and stuff like that, EDC gear. He started with the patch, and he's got a video out about it. And he switched and traded and traded and traded and traded and up traded and up traded and up traded. And the next thing you know, he had a $350 knife by the end of the day. Again, how much of that is real? How much of that happened just because of who he was and the fact that he was making a video and people wanted to be in the video? I don't know. What I'm saying is, the point to that is, if you have something that you don't like, if you have a knife that you're not happy with that you want to get rid of, if you want a knife but you can't afford to buy one new, there are places on Reddit and online, different websites and sources to where you can go on there and you can get in the discourse and talk to other people that have knives and stuff, and they are looking to trade what they have. They're just looking to trade. That's part of the game for them. That's part of the enjoyment. It's just trading and swapping out and doing this and that. So if you do, I encourage you, if you have something you're wanting to get rid of, or if there's something you're looking that you want to find, people liked my pawn shop videos. That's not the only place that you can find good deals. Go onto those websites I was just now talking about. Look for what people have got out there. That people are desperate. People really don't like something, and to them it's not worth $200 because they just don't like it. So obviously they even if they pay $200 for it, they're just so desperate to get rid of it, they might sell it for $100, $125, and you're getting a really good $200 knife for $100, $125. Those options are there. Go onto those sites, trade up, get rid of the stuff. Ultimately, get what you like and make your own decisions, guys. I'm Christy. I'm Professional Dad. I know that this was a really long video, but some people have asked me to make my videos longer. Here you go. I'm trying to answer y'all's questions every way I can. But I do appreciate it, guys. I've enjoyed this video. I look forward to the next one. I've got a lot of knives coming in. I've got a lot of unboxings coming up. And it's the month of December. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and January 3rd is right around the corner, guys. Until next time, I'm Christy, I'm Professional Dad. Keep your lives full and your knives sharp. See you guys next time.